What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I just wanted to have a quick discussion about my personal biggest worry when it comes to Star Wars Squadrons. As I'm sure most of you know by now if you have been paying attention to the game, we were lucky enough to be able to test the game about a month ago now, and everything that we saw in the playtest was really solid. The gameplay was really deep and well thought out, the customization was better than any of us expected, and the actual gameplay customization was even better than that in terms of changing your ship components and stuff like that. Overall, there wasn't really much in the gameplay itself, at least from what we saw, that stood out as an issue or anything like that, other than just some small balancing issues which we all pretty much mentioned to the dev team, and I'd say by launch they would have looked into that and made any changes they deemed necessary. But like I said, the overall gameplay experience was really solid. Since we only played for a few hours though, obviously we only played on a few maps, and despite playing all the modes and all these starfighter classes and stuff, you obviously can't get a solid grip on everything in such a short amount of time. So I think for most of us, at least I know for me anyway, it was a really great experience for what we did play, but there's still so much that we just don't know exactly how we feel about, and for me the biggest issue is that I feel like there is a real lack of content in the game. Now, yes, the price for the game is only $40, so that already does sort of address that issue in a way. They clearly know the game isn't incredibly deep when it comes to content, and so they've obviously adjusted for that in the pricing. But personally, I still think that in this day and age, there's almost an expectation with multiplayer gaming that content will be added down the line in order to keep things fresh and exciting. Now, I want to make it clear that this isn't meant to be a negative video, more a constructive one, as like I said, the gameplay itself, the customization, the squad elements, and the content that is in the game at launch is all genuinely really solid. I know the game changers do tend to have this reputation where we're all shills and we'll say anything good about the game just because we're game changers, but you can see from this video that that's not true. We're more than happy to criticise things that need criticising, and so my opinion on the gameplay itself isn't biased either. I'm not saying it's good for the sake of it, I genuinely mean that as a huge Star Wars fan and a huge fan of gaming. Now, with that being said, despite how great I think the core experience of the game is, I think it will unfortunately suffer if they don't add DLC down the line, as having only 2 modes, 4 classes, and I think 6 or 7 maps, that will all start to get stale fairly quickly, and we've quite literally seen that already with Starfighter Assault, which also has 4 classes and 7 maps, and that game did unfortunately die down very early on in Battlefront 2's lifespan. Listening to Ian Fraser talk about it, he does seem to have a more sort of old school approach to this game, which quite frankly I find pretty awesome, honestly. Trying to make a game that is complete at launch and play it without needing anything added to it, and I can respect that, especially since the game itself is almost trying to be an old school flight simulator like the X-Wing and TIE Fighter series back in the day. With that being said, I think there's a reason that that approach is considered old school, because multiplayer gaming is constantly evolving, and these days things just aren't done the way they used to be. Not 5 years ago we were in the era of paid DLC where you'd sort of pay full price for a game, then maybe every 3 to 4 months you'd pay another $10 to $15 for a big DLC expansion with some new maps, some new characters and weapons and stuff like that, and that was what the gaming world considered normal. Right now we're in the live service era where companies release their game, they promise free content for the foreseeable future, and they monetize it with stuff like battle passes, microtransactions for cosmetic items and a bunch of stuff like that, and these days that is considered normal for multiplayer gaming. The reason that it is considered normal is because right now that is what's working for multiplayer development companies. Look at Modern Warfare and Warzone, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, all of these games are locked into this live service system, and all of those games are making an absolute killing and have become some of the biggest multiplayer franchises of the last 10 years. For Motive to go against that system doesn't really seem like the right decision, honestly, and while I can really respect their decision to create a sort of complete finished game on launch with no MTX, I don't know if that's what makes a great multiplayer experience these days, and it does have me slightly worried for the game's lifespan if I'm going to be completely honest. If they wanted to keep that old school approach to it, which it seems like they really do, then hell, they could literally make expansion packs like the old games used to, where it's essentially a new game added onto the current one, having maybe 50% of the content of the base game, but all new starfighters and maps and some new game modes, and sell it for say $10 to $20. Now I personally don't think that's the best way either. Like I said, live service is the best option right now, but I also would not be opposed to that. I'd be more than happy to pay a bit of extra money if we got like a prequel expansion with say 3 prequel maps, 8 starfighter skins to replace the Rebel and Imperial starfighters, with some CIS and Galactic and Republic starfighters instead, and maybe a handful of new skins and a new game mode. I would honestly probably pay full price for that, just because I know that the core game itself is really great and I would love to play it with even more content. Again, I don't think that's the best option at all. I think some other way of making money while still adding content is a much better option, but what I do know is that the game has so much potential for the future, and it does worry me that in, say, 3 to 6 months into the game, we're all going to be bored, and once again, we'll be sitting here with no current Star Wars games to play, which I don't think any of us want. At the end of the day, I'm still super excited for this game, honestly probably more excited than I am for any games currently coming out, and if we never get any DLC or anything, then I know I'll probably still really love the game, but the greedy gamer in me is definitely coming out, and I'd honestly do anything to see this game get support for at least a year or so, as I do think it has almost unlimited potential if that does ever happen. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. I'm very keen to hear what you guys have to say on the topic, but I have a feeling you're all mostly going to feel pretty similar to me, and if that is the case, then let's rally behind this game, support the hell out of it at launch, and let the devs know that we really do want to see content added at some point in the future. If you did enjoy the video, then be sure to leave a like down below to help support the channel, and be sure to subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss out on any Star Wars gaming videos or live streams. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!